78.6 FM Yomatan, Positive Vibes of Winsome. Oh my goodness. It is so amazing, so wonderful, and I'm so excited to be back in the booth here on 78.6 FM Yomatan. I've been away, as you know. It's been about, I guess you can say 6 weeks. And then 6 weeks is a long time in radio life, right? As you know, the United States military sent me to a course called the Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Academy. So for 6 weeks, we're in there learning how to be better leaders, what's going on in the world, how to take care of our people. And ultimately, it came back to some of the things that I've learned over a 24-year career, but also some really cool things that I wasn't aware of that's going on in the world right now, right? So very awesome opportunities to do that. Where have I been? Training. So 6 weeks of class. As you guys know, I'm not the guy that likes to sit inside a class, and I love to teach, but to sit in that chair for 8 hours a day, oh, guys, for me, man, that took a lot out of me. But you know what? I learned a lot. I really appreciated the class, had a really cool class, had a really great instructor. And we were there for the beta. So what that means, a beta is the first time that they've done this course with this, this lesson, this curriculum. So I got to learn a lot of things that, for the first time, we got to give some feedback, try to help make the program better. And really cool, got to be out there in Alabama. I can say this, there's no comparison to Okinawa. And Alabama was definitely not up there in comparison to how much I miss this place. I was saying it every day. I miss the island. I would call it my island, right? My little island. I miss my island. I miss Okinawa. I miss Yomatan. I miss my village. I miss my friends. I miss talking to you. One of the cool things about that trip is I did get to see my babies, my kiddos. I missed them so much, and I got to see how big they've grown. And just amazing to see their little personalities there, how happy they were to see me and how sad they were to see me go. Shooting hopefully to see them after the beginning of the new year again, after the holidays when tickets ain't crazy expensive, right? Get back to see them. And the time to think. The one thing that I was able to do while in Gunter, Alabama, I really did take every opportunity to relax, every opportunity to think, every opportunity to plan what I want to do next. Not just for as a father, as a host, as a teacher, instructor, coach, just as a human being. Where do I want to be in 2023, right? So I looked at a lot of the things that I was doing in 2022, 21, 20. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary here at the station this summer. So what do I want to do next year? Really great opportunities to teach while I was there in Gunter, Alabama. I taught the Philippine Air Force. Wonderful opportunity to teach from Alabama. We did a Zoom class on 5 voices, right, which is one of the classes I was certified in this year. Really great group, really great opportunity, very unique opportunity to reach across the waters and talk to our friends in the Philippines. And so I'll be doing that again live and in person come January of this next year. So I'm really excited to go and teach the Philippine Air Force, and also talk to one of the companies there in Manila has also invited me to teach on some of the other lessons from Positive Vibes radio show that we teach and are certified on. So 2023 already got some quick boosts, right? Some new collaborative sponsorships during the time I was gone. So I really thought about what I wanted to do with the direction of the show. So we talk about a lot of great things. And the one thing I wanted to give that I really struggled at the beginning was to give something that you could walk away with and apply. People come in here and tell stories all day. There's podcasts all over the world right now where everybody has a podcast and is telling a story of some sort. But I want you to be able to walk away and apply something, right? I want you to listen to the show or to watch it live and say, hey, that's dope. I didn't think about that. Let me take that away and let me try that for myself? How can not just speaking positivity in life into you, but how do I give you tools to do it for yourself when the YouTube's not available or when you don't have access to listen to the podcast that's coming out in January? How do I give you tools to be a better person, to be a better human, to be kind, to have a good heart, to think about yourself, to focus on self-care? How do we give you that? So those are some of the things I was teaching or thinking about while I was in Alabama. Teaching the Philippine Air Force, just kind of resetting and reevaluating all of the things and all of the lessons that I learned in 2022. I don't want to wait until next month or January to come up with those, I like to call them fake resolutions, right? I like to kind of write out and chart my course and then come up with a game plan for the new year. And that's what I did. I have a notebook here that I actually take time and start writing down everything that actually goes through my mind. It's kind of just to keep it from being stuck in there, right? And then I kind of flush those ideas out. Like, okay, 1, I want to have a partnership with this team. B, how do I do that? Make contact. Everything that is a plan or a thought, I make sure I write out the action steps. And so that's something that I learned along the way is always write it out. Chart your course. If you can see it, it's real, right? And then when you start making those action steps happen, then you start to build confidence and momentum, and anything's possible. So I wrote something on my social media recently. I said, I don't fear failure. I fear being in the same place next year as I am today. The quote that I heard while I was flying back, and it really resonated with me. I might be paraphrasing a little bit on that, but all I'm saying there, and all I need you to hear is you're going to fail. Not everything is going to go right. Things are going to happen that are going to throw you off course. Things are going to happen that are going to discourage you, right? But what do you do? What is inside of you that says, that's all right, I still got this? What's inside of you that says, that happened, but I still see my finish line? What's inside of you that says, I created this target for a reason? I need to keep fighting, right? And like I told you all year, you can be, do, or have anything if you fight for it. And people think, oh man, what do you mean by fight? What do you mean by be, do, or have? Let me tell you something. Let's go backwards to go forwards. A lot of people say they have a dream of being something, but they don't put in the work. They don't fight for it. They take that first no as concrete. They don't keep moving. They don't try to find other ways around making it happen. A lot of people want to do things, but they get distracted or they allow the smallest thing to knock them off course. Perfect example. People want to travel, but they don't want to put the work in to get a passport. A one-day problem, right? That can be solved easily. People always worry about what everybody else has, but what is it that you really want to have in your life, and how do you achieve getting it? What do you want? How do you get it? What is the plan? What steps do you have to take? How much do you have to save? What places do you have to go? Who do you need to speak to? Be, do, or have anything you put your mind to and that your heart wants and desires if you fight for it. So I say all this to say that everything that I've said over the year, I thought about that a lot, right? Okay, I don't want to be the meme guy. I don't want to be the quote guy. I want to put some heart behind everything I say. I want to make sure you can see it. You can feel it. And that's all of these things, you are loved. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Just listen to what I'm telling you. You are loved. One of my instructors over in Gunter, Alabama was like, yeah, but what about when you have people that work for you and they get on your nerves, they upset you all the time? Do you love them less as a human being because of how they act? Or do you just frustrate and irritate them who they are as their character, their person? Because traditionally, for me, historically, anytime someone's worked for me, that's my little brother, little sister, my family. You're part of my operational umbrella. All of my teammates will tell you that, right? Operational umbrella. I love you. We're going to get through this together. Let's go. And by the end of the class, I had the instructor telling the class, "Hey, I love you guys, man." It was the most beautiful turnaround ever. I sent you guys a copy of one of the notes I showed you on social media from one of my classmates who was saying thank you. And it just warmed my heart because, you don't go into scenarios or situations like that for you. You go in those situations like that hoping to learn something, right? Hoping that you can make a difference somehow, some way. But the feedback was that I was making difference in people's lives, the way they saw their careers, the way they saw themselves, the way they saw people, the way they saw their leadership skills. Like I was influencing and changing lives and changing perspectives, which I didn't expect. This is the guy that didn't even want to go. If you're 100%, if I'm being 100, I did not want to go because there was so much going on back here. Not just with the show, but with my job. One of my teammates had some crazy stuff happening. I needed to be here in my mind. But I realized now the universe had a different reason for me to go. Who our creator said, nah, this is where I need you right now for these 13 people for this 6 weeks, Winsome. That's where your light needs to be. So I took that and I was very, very taken back by the feedback because I didn't expect it. It was a wonderful surprise, right? And the icing on the cake was the text, the feedback, and the notes, the calls, the thank yous. It's always nice to know that you made a difference. It feels wonderful. It warms my whole heart to know that I made an impact, small or big. But I made a difference. We made a difference. And those folks are going to take whatever they took from me and that energy, that light, and hopefully be better leaders, be better people, be better husbands and wives, just from the time that we spent together for 6 weeks. Now, Gunter, Alabama, there's not a whole lot there. I didn't have a car, so I'm getting around the base in the scooter, right? So I'm going from the lodging facility, like a little hotel room that they gave us, to the dining facility, which is across the street, to the class, which is right behind us. And then if I needed to go to the shopette to get something like water bottles or the commissary to get some food, some snacks, I would just take my scooter, electric scooter, right, and take it over to the spot and back. So people always see this guy, this bald guy on the scooter, just 12 miles per hour flying to while they're in their nice rental cars that their bases probably pay for them. I didn't need that. I was so at peace with being behind that gate for that 5 weeks and just taking that time to reevaluate everything. I say all that to say this. A lot of reading, a lot of learning, a lot of loving. I'm so grateful for the experience. That's where I've been. Gunter, Alabama, senior NCOA, the academy to make us better leaders for the United States Air Force. Met some really cool folks from other branches, right? Australia, German Air Force. We had Canadian Air Force. And, of course, as you know, I was teaching with the Philippine Air Force. So it was a great opportunity to have those things happen. One of the books I was reading on the way, as you guys know, I got a surprise for you guys in January. One of the cool ones I read on the way back, and I won't lie to you and act like I read this cover to cover. I listen in Audible, right? That's my favorite thing. I love Audible. I follow along. I highlight in the actual physical book. But this book right here, man, from the Harvard Business Review is actually talking about mental toughness. And some of the topics in here have a lot of great stories about what people went through to figure out what type of leader they are. There's some terms like the crucible, things that people had to go through to reevaluate who they were as a person, as a leader, how people saw them. Some things painful, some things not as painful, but the things that we go through in life, to have an understanding, things we have to feel, see, and experience to make us better. The things that are required for growth. And this really has a lot of great examples, man. One of my favorites, of course, be it as me, I'm a really great guy that loves, really into positive psychology. It's one of the things that really highlights my life, man. I really love following. So I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit when we come back from the break. And then we're going to also talk about some gratitude. And we're going to talk about some steps and exercises. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome. Can't wait to talk to you in a second. We'll be right back. .6 FM, Yomatan, forgive me. In the first segment, I know we normally do the thumb ball or something for Trainers Warehouse at thumball.com, but this is my first time back, man. I don't have nobody sitting next to me to throw the thumb ball to. I said dumb ball. Throw the thumb ball to, so I'm just going to chill and just kind of catch up with you, man, like a big brother that's been away for a long time. So I'm really excited. I came in today, which is 2 days after what the Americans, we celebrate called Thanksgiving. And I call it Gratitude Day, right? It's just, we always talk about things we're thankful for. I don't wait until that day to talk about what I'm grateful for, or to tell someone I appreciate them, or to be grateful and make sure my actions match my words. Gratitude Day or Thanksgiving is that day that we get together with family, with friends. We celebrate each other. We have good food, and we eat all the stuff that you know you're going to get fat on Black Friday, which is today or yesterday for those in the U.S., that they're going to be going out and shopping and buying stuff. It may be discounted rates or just may fool you. It's the same price, but it's here on this tag anyway. So Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving, and today is prime time Positive Vibes Saturday, 2 days after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to tell you, I wanted to talk about some things that we should always be grateful for. And when you go back and you think about this, I want you to realize that I say these things not because, again, I don't want this to be a meme. I'm not an influencer. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot watching U.S. TV over the last 6 weeks. I don't have television here to where I see commercials and news like that, right? So I've seen a lot going on in the U.S. with a lot of people. One in particular, as you guys know, a musician going through a mental health crisis and being exploited and being on different radio stations. And I was praying. I was sitting there where I was, and I was like, somebody please turn off his mic. And when I say that, I don't mean like mute the man, but not allowing him to be on these platforms for a minute, right? Those folks that really truly love him or care about him, from comedians, actors, celebrities, just surrounding him. And I hate to say it like this, but just putting him on mute, taking his mic for a minute so he can recover, get some real help. And that's what I think we really need. A lot of people in some of these situations. I'm watching these influencers, is what they call it now, right? And some of them cool, repeating a lot of the same things you hear from others. I mean, if you really watch them, they're saying the same things over and over. And then the reaction videos where somebody does facial reactions to somebody else doing something wild. Society right now is very interesting because the energy that you're spending trying to do a pull-up with a couch attached to your back, and some other guy finding this video just to do a reaction to the guy who's doing something crazy. I don't understand the point. I really don't get it. And none of it's doing anything. We say there's a problem, right, in different aspects of our world right now with mental health, and there's a work short stoppage. If I'm not tracking that incorrectly, there's people who don't want to go to work now. They want to work from home. But this is what you're doing with your time right here. And we're paying people for this. We're paying people to strap a couch to your back, put 1,000 pounds on your back, do backflips in the hope that you land on your feet, and only show everybody the part that you actually landed on your feet, not the hospital visits. I mean, it's so interesting what I was watching. I was only there for 6 weeks, and I was like, wow. I don't get caught in the YouTube, what do you call it, algorithm tunnel, where I watch one video and I allow it to take me to. I don't do that. I just cut it off after I see what I wanted to see. But that takes discipline, which is something that not everybody has, and that's something that everybody pays attention to. You see, those algorithms will take you down Alice's tunnel, Alice in Wonderland. It's just like watching a Netflix show, right? It's really good, so they leave you in a cliffhanger at the end of the episode, and then they jump you into the next episode. Same thing that these videos do. They just throw you into something that's connected to what you were just watching, and it got your mind now. We got them. And it keeps you going in that little dark circle of algorithm to where by the time you pull back and sit back and look around, you just wasted 3-4 hours watching something that didn't do anything for you mentally. Didn't grow you, didn't stimulate your mind, nothing. You probably just lost 1,000 brain cells. But the point is, if we're not self-aware, and I say all that to say this, if you're not self-aware, if you don't have that discipline, if you're not paying attention to what your kids are watching, if you're not paying attention to what you're spending hours watching, the time is gone. If you're listening to these influencers, I'm going to give you a perfect example of why it's so important to understand that that title is scary in itself. The title influencer is scary in itself. You see, these people are influencing you with their words, actions, on camera. But we just lost another person, great guy who was battling in pain, going through some things because he's human. And you just saw somebody else who's going through a breakdown because they're human. And then you got these other influencers selling makeup and getting their bodies done and all this other stuff, and then pushing these ideas and agendas and concepts under your kids, influencing them. My son was watching, he likes to draw, he was watching the YouTube. The artist was doing some really cool art, right? Because he likes those characters. But then this is a 8-year-old listening to this YouTuber. Sounds real cool, hype energy, right? And then this YouTuber starts talking about some stuff. While he's drawing, he went political first. Then he started, all I'm going to say is you have to listen to what these so-called influencers are actually saying, because our kids don't know what wrong is yet. Only we know what right looks like. And if we keep allowing these people to throw this information and influence our kids and influence us because we're not self-aware, we don't have the discipline enough to know what right looks like in a lot of these aspects. People, these are just other human beings behind a mic trying to influence you to buy what they're selling. Notice I've never said subscribe, like, follow, ever. But every time I'm here, I do it for you. I don't do this for money. I don't take this hour out of my day because I feel obligated. I do this because I care. Because it's information that I'm learning and reading and hearing every single day that I wish somebody would have told me before I joined, or told my family while they're out there not getting this information. And we're giving it for free. The word influencer is dangerous and it's scary. And watching these kids that are doing stuff not really working for but benefiting from it is teaching the wrong message. That's not saying if you work for something. That's saying you can get it if you just are popular enough. If you find the magic trick to get enough likes or once. But then you start creating an environment where our kids, teenagers on up, they get wrapped around the numbers. Right? I was watching something that was really crazy in the airport. It was talking about how people get obsessed with how many likes and dislikes in the comments. And it really adds to depression, anxiety, insomnia. It's a completely different type of bullying than what we grew up with, right? And some of it is in their subconscious because they don't realize that they're carrying the weight of expectations that they've put on themselves. There is a whole country, and I will not name which one it is, but there's a whole country that really literally grades you based on these things, your popularity, how people perceive you. But really the only person in where we are that should be grading and worried about it is you. You should have the expectation of yourself to go out into society and just be a good person. Doesn't matter how many thumbs up or hearts you get, just be a good person. Fight for your best day. Survive it. Be grateful that you have another day. You see, we get so wrapped up in what other people are doing and how other people achieve things and what they have. We don't appreciate what we have. Speaking of gratitude, we don't appreciate that we've got a new day. The people in our lives. That you can smell something new every single day. Touch, taste. The people who helped you get as far as you've gotten in this life to this day. Appreciating those folks that were always there when times were hard. Appreciating the difficult, being grateful for the difficult times. Think about that for a second. I'm grateful because it was hard. No, I'm grateful because I survived it. I'm grateful because I learned the lesson. Now I can apply what I learned. And I can come back out, wake up tomorrow stronger than I was yesterday. Better than I was yesterday. You see, these are the things you should always be grateful for, the people in your life that are meaningful to you. Always be grateful for life. Gosh, if you guys really appreciated life as much as you could and should, we take it for granted. We really do. But if you see it as a blessing, you got another day to do something incredible. You got another day to fix what you might have broken the day before, to right a wrong, to care about somebody deeper, to love, to adventure, to explore life, to see something you never seen before, to try something you never tried before, to experiment with something, just to have fun. If you see life as a blessing, not as something that you just take for granted. I'm here, let's go, got to get through this day. Oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock, I got to get home. Oh, I got to work tomorrow. No, it's not what you have to do. If you see it as things that you get to do, it changes everything. It's not that I have to, it's that I get to. That's gratitude. That's being grateful for all of it. I remember doing this every year after Thanksgiving or before Thanksgiving, talk about gratitude. And I love because it's such a life hack. And I'm going to talk to you about it more when we get back right after this. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. We'll be right back. 78.6 FM Yoma Time, Positive Vibes with Winsome. I've been talking about gratitude. I'm talking about applying the lesson, learn the lessons, coming back stronger. Been talking about things that we should always be grateful for. Who you are. Not what you want, but what you have. Not where you want to go, but where you've been. Not what other people think about you, but what you think about you when you love who you are. They had I think it was a video not too long ago, a young, I can't say young lady, she was an older lady, probably about in her 80s, and she was in her skimmies, and the lady goes, "How do you feel?" And she looks around, and she's giggling a little bit. She says, "I feel free because I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with my skin that I'm in. I'm grateful that I have this. I'm grateful that I'm still able to move and to talk to you and to feel what I feel," right? I was just smiling because, listen to me, if we can have that kind of childhood curiosity with our lives and appreciation of everything that we have, come on. It changes everything. And granted, life is not always easy. I'm here to tell you, I know life is hard. I know life can be scary. I know that things happen in your life that you just feel like there's no escape from it. You just want to escape it. It's scary. It's painful. Come on. I know. Trust me. I know. But there's always an opportunity, an answer, a door that allows you to survive your worst day. I say that there's a Jason David Frank. You know, we lost him recently. One of my favorite Power Rangers growing up as a kid. And again, if you listen to the story, the news of what happened, you realize that dude was in pain, right? We talk about being in pain and being human. And he's one of those influencers that was sitting here every day doing cameos and talking to people and telling, "Hey, you got this, and, you know, do this, put your mind to it." Listen to me. You can be all lit up in a ray of sunshine, but when life, like Mike Tyson said, when life punches you in the mouth, everything changes. Everything changes. And this was relationship issues my man was dealing with. And that pain is real. So never judge a man or a woman who's going through pain, because their pain is not your pain. And if you can't meet them where they're at with their pain, then just get out the way and try to find someone that can. Because pain is real. And the first people who are experiencing and feeling it and are in that moment, they can't see the future. They can't see that they're going to heal. They don't want to see that far because they're feeling that right now in that moment. And if the right people aren't around them, that might be the last time you see these people, because they don't have these tools. They don't have that person in the ear. My friend back in training was calling me Jiminy Cricket because I was like his conscience, right? That person that's feeding him. But they influence your people. They're influencing your kids. You see, people are human. We have feelings. We have thoughts. We have pain. You have to know yourself. It's called self-awareness. You have to know who you are. You have to know how you respond to those things. And if you haven't felt the deepest pain that you think you've ever felt in your life, then compare based on the last time you've had some really painful things happen in your life. How did you respond? Who did you call? What did you do? If something worse happens, who do you call? What do you do? Where do you go? Know these things. I say this because the book I was reading, right? I call him the father of positive psychology, Dr. Martin Seligman, right? We talked about gratitude in his book. One of the things he talked about doing, which was really cool, and I plan on doing this for 2023, Dr. Seligman said, write a letter. He said, picture someone, I'm paraphrasing, picture someone in your life that's truly made a significant difference in your life. Someone that was really, truly special to you, and because of them, you are where you are right now. Write a letter. And he says, when you write this letter, you know, make it about 300 words and really outline and highlight the difference that that person made in your life. Seal up the envelope, text them, call them, and say, hey, wherever you at, I want to meet you. I want to set up a day to meet with you. Don't tell them, keep it vague, right? And then you make that trip to wherever they are. You give them that letter, but instead of just handing it to them to read, you get to them and you read it to them. Let me tell you something, man. I thought that was beautiful. And I imagine being on the other end of that. Somebody writes this letter, goes out of their way to find you. It says, hey, I found you. I just want to read this to you because it's something that my heart called for me to do. And they open that letter and it goes a little something like this. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for making me realize or helping me realize how strong I was when I didn't see it for myself. Thank you for helping me understand how capable I am. Thank you for guiding me in the right direction all those times that I almost went left and I knew I should have went right, and you're always there. And even when you weren't physically there, I heard the words you said to me before that guided me in the right direction. Thank you for the opportunities. Thank you for the trust. Because of you, every goal that I've had in 2022, 21, 20, you name it, every opportunity that came, every dream that I had, every vision, every goal, because you believed in me, I was able to achieve it. So I say thank you. And for me, I can't be where all of these people are that I would want to write this letter to, but I'll say a few names. Thank you, Ann Lacey. Thank you, Christy Bowes. Thank you, Scott Garricky and Sarah Garricky. Thank you, Chief Devonzo. Thank you, Sergeant Donatucci. Thank you to all the leaders who I had that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Thank you, Mr. A, for being my Air Force dad when everybody else at that time in my career was ready to throw me away and just put me through the shredder. You saw me. Thank you for taking me in as a family member. When all my family was scattered all over the world, you saw me. Thank you for every day coming to me and saying, WC, how you doing? WC, what are you doing? What do you got planned for the weekend? WC, come to my office. WC, you can do better than this. WC, don't worry about that. Thank you because of you and because of your heart and because of what you showed me all those years ago. I'm able to do all of those things for others. I lead with love. I focus on how someone is, not what they're doing, but who they are. I try to find the strengths in individuals and help them create weaknesses to be strengths. And should I rephrase that? I help find the strengths in individuals and I help make their weaknesses strengths. Because of you. Every one of those people and so many more that I probably didn't mention have changed my entire life for the last 25 years. Almost 25. It's 24 and some months. So I'm grateful for you. Thank you for the listeners. 78.6 FM Yomaton. Thank you for every single person that tunes in. Thank you for the folks who follow on Facebook, who click the button to the website just to go out and say, let me see what Winsome's doing now. Thank you. Thank you to the folks who truly believe in me. Surprisingly, I got a special thank you too. Thank you to the folks. Thank you. And a special thank you to the folks who don't believe in me. Thank you to the people who doubted me. Thank you to the people who wanted to see me fail. Thank you to the folks who made it obvious in public that they didn't trust, believe, or want me around. Thank you to those folks who didn't give me an opportunity, the chance, told me no. Strangely and oddly enough, because of you, I'm here. Because of you, I'm still standing. You see, I took every no, I took every doubt, I took every action that you showed me, every silent or verbal or physical action, and I used it as strength. I used it as motivation. I used it as energy. I used it as a fire deep inside of my stomach and in the pit of my soul. And I said, I am not done. There's so much more. You see, instead of using it to sink into a depression or crawl into a little hole and say, maybe they're right about me, I don't know. No, I took all of that. And I said, guess what? You have no idea what I'm capable of. You have no idea how hungry I am. You have no idea how this fire inside of me is burning. You have no idea. So let me show you. 78.6 FM Yomitan. I love to write a letter to those folks too. There's one person in particular, and Mama Bose knows who this person is, that when there was an opportunity for me to elevate, this person went out of their way to choose to try to push me below. And instead of allowing that to stop me, I allowed it to fuel me. I used it as fuel. Not everybody's going to be on your team. Not everybody's going to be your biggest fan. Not everybody's going to say, you got this. But let me tell you something. There's a such thing as learned helplessness. And I refuse to allow that to be my story. 78.6 FM Yomitan. There's another step, action step. That's the letter. Sorry, I got a little into that one. But let me tell you something. There's also another action step, and it's called 3 blessings. On base, when we're teaching resiliency, we call it what went well. And Dr. Seligman, when you peel the onion back and you realize where all of these lessons came from, for all of the service branches. Now listen to me. This is what all the service branches use to build resiliency in their teams. And what he said was, he said, take 10 minutes a night. Take 10 minutes a night and write down 3 things that went well. Come on, guys. You got, I don't know how many, 1,440 minutes in a day, if I'm tracking that correctly. And if you can take 10 minutes just to write down things that went well for you, and not just things that went well, but why they went well, and who helped them happen. My husband went and got me ice cream, and it really made me happy. It was my favorite flavor, right? You just wrote down what it was. It was your ice cream. Who got it for you? Your husband, and why it made you happy. It's your favorite flavor. Come on. If you can do 3 of those things, let me show you what you're doing. And we call it looking for the good, but it's celebrating the good things in your life. I just gave you 2. Write a letter. Because when you write this letter, you're also focusing on the good that somebody has brought to your life. And then when you're taking 10 minutes a night and you're writing down 3 things, just 3. You can, if you have more, great, but just focus on 3 good things about your day. Why it happened and who helped make it happen. You know what you're doing? You're celebrating the good things. Celebrating the good news is what we call it. And at the same time, you're practicing gratitude. And this becomes a habit, and this, if I haven't told you this before, if I haven't mentioned this the last time we talked about gratitude, this can change your life. Being grateful for what you have, for who you are, what you've survived in your life. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. See you next week. Arigato. Thank you so much. Yes, yes.
Few minutes, please.
Okay, yes, no problem.
Information for
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.